Hello everybody. Okay, so gonna try and do a lap guide for Monza in the F3500A for the Dynamic GT League. Okay, couple of things to mention before we hit the track. Number one, the fastest lap times that we've been able to do in this car have been done with the aeros set to maximum. And I would recommend going with the maximum. I have tried a number of different aero settings. Going with the maximum gives you more stability and will look after your rear tyres. And you do need to look after the rear tyres around this track. Tyre wear is going to be close for a one stop to be possible. Probably going to be looking at two stops for many people. Key things to watch out for, again, off the start line. Do not be full throttle in first or second gear. And turn 1 and 2 that we can see here, you can exit the corner in first or second, but do not be anywhere near full throttle in first or second gear. It will wheel spin, and if you wheel spin there as a one-off, it's not too bad, but if you're doing it every single lap, you're just going to kill your rear tyres. Second chicane, it's a little bit tricky. The car doesn't like the bumpy exit, so make sure we're getting off the steering when we're getting the throttle on. It can be exited in second or third gear, depending on tyre condition and how you've entered it. The two Lesmos, well, the first one's not exactly difficult, but if you get it a bit wrong and run a bit wide, be very cautious of the exit curb. The second one, don't go into that too fast. You may think the braking points I'm going to show you are too late. They're not. Ascari. Now, this is probably one of the easier cars to drive in Ascari, but if you've got dirty air or you brake too late, it will be awfully difficult. Now, you can do it in third gear. You might even be able to do it in fourth gear, but you do not want to be dropping down lower than third gear for the corners, and be careful of hitting too much curb, and careful on the exit as well, because if you do have a bit of a moment wide, don't stay full throttle. Chances are you will end up in the barrier. Final corner, Parabolica. Don't go late braking into here. It will just hurt your tyres, slow you down way too much, and it's going to be very difficult to accomplish an overtake into the corner unless you are already side by side down the back straight. If you are coming into the braking zone behind someone, be prepared to stay behind them and try and focus on the exit. Also, dirty air is going to be a little bit evil around here. It's going to increase your braking distances. It's going to make it harder for you to turn in. And don't get caught out in that, oh, it's understeering. The way to solve that is to steer more. That does not work. That just hurts the tyres. You still don't steer. And then you try going faster, and the car will more than likely spin for you. Okay, I am now going to drive some laps and hopefully be able to put a lap together. But I'm going to spare you watching me get warmed up and everything, as hopefully what follows now will be an edited together lap to show you how to get around this track in the F3500. Okay, so as we begin the lap, if you are behind a car, you might want to move out from behind. But braking point when you're not behind a car is 150 metres. Feed off those brakes. So it can be done second gear, but gentle now. A little bit of wheel spin there, more than I would want. So that was gentle throttle and still got wheel spin. So be very cautious on exit the corner. Through Curva Grande, we're going to brake now 150 metres. Try and get the left-hand tyre over the orange curb, but for the second part, don't get a tyre over the curb. About 65 metres, be patient on the way in, and then you can get fully on the throttle. Again, about 70 metres, patient on the way in, full throttle on the way out. Now, Ascari, do not brake later than the bridge, not this one, the next one. Third gear, be off the brakes when you turn in, and you can either go aggressive in third, or you can short shift up to fourth and make your way through the corners. You can push the steering through there. Curva Grande, 75 metres. Let it slow down, cautious on the throttle, not full throttle until you know we can really make the exit of the corner. Okay, so I'm going to try and do another lap like that, so 150, but remember, if you're behind the car, you're going to have to brake earlier. Feed off the steering, I'm going to do it second gear this time. Still not full throttle until late in second gear. Zero wheel spin. That is much better for the tyre. It might not give you instant lap time, but it will give you longevity of the tyres. Again, 150. Second gear. I've missed the apex. Make sure you do not hit that orange curb on the right. If you do, your car's going to be all over the place. Dabber brakes, be patient, get it turned in, then pull on the throttle. About 75 metres, get it turned in. Ideally, get over the curb on the right hand side. But again, try and get off the steering as early as possible. Okay, at the bridge. Off the brakes, turn it in. Short shift to fourth this time. And we're able to lean on the steering through the corners. But if you need to, come back and have a look at this, at how little amount of steering angle I am trying to put onto the car. And around Parabolica there, as I was starting to run a little bit wide, I didn't try and turn it more to get around the corner, just a little lift. And that's what got us around the corner. Okay, feeding off the brakes. Okay, so got in first, going to come out in second this time. No wheel spin. That's what we really want to be trying to do. Like I say, you can exit in first or second, but either way you do it, either way you're comfortable with, try and not get that wheel spin. Okay, left tyre over the orange. That's what happens if you hit the second orange, and it delays you getting on the power. No late braking, be off the brakes before you turn in. Careful of running too far wide. Over the curb like that. That's how I like to take it. Get that right front wheel up on the AstroTurf bit. Seems to help pull the car around the corner. Now you don't have to go full brakes into the Parabolica. If you go back and look, I've used the brake in there, I think 3 different ways. Each will work, but you don't have to go full brakes. It'll look after the tyres. Again, you can do it full brakes, just like I have done the last corner here. You can go full brakes, but again, it's just putting more pressure through the tyres and the car. Okay, there we go. That's the laps really. Although I suppose I could show you what to do if we're off the offline. So here we go, we'll go 150. Got to stay on the brakes longer to make sure we're getting slowed down, leaving the space on the inside of the left-hander. Lot of wheel spin coming there, mainly because of a very different steering angle. I wouldn't necessarily recommend attempting overtakes down here. If you're already side by side, you may be tempted to though, but you're going to have to really get it slowed down and avoid that right hand side, which runs risk of running left. Up the inside can be done here, but again, if you're a touch late on the brakes, you've got to be running wide. You may even have to go down the extra gear like I just did there. And if you're having to go down an extra gear, you guessed it, you're going to be going slower. Now for Ascari, it's a similar thing, brake at the same sort of point, but more than likely going to have to go down the extra gear to be able to give space to your competitors. Excuse me. And then into the final corner. On this tighter line, watch out for that curb trying to spin you, but also if you get on the throttle too soon, it will run you wide, and you don't want to be doing that. But look as well, the difference in lap time, nearly 4 seconds a lap slower than the previous of a 1:28.9. But what I will mention is that when it comes to lap times, we are looking at lap times lower than the 128 that I've done there. I think 126s is where we've been. Race pace though, around the 120 high, sort of mid-high 127s, 128s would be very good race pace. And with that little guide that I've done there, if you can come out of turn 1 and 2 with 0 wheel spin, it will help you big time in being able to potentially do a one-stop strategy. This car around this track will benefit you more by not being aggressive with your attempted overtakes. So I would recommend being wise about where you attempt it, because the amount of time you could lose, especially if it goes badly wrong, is a lot. Well, it's much more of a negative than the positive of gaining that one position. Right, good luck everybody, and that's it.